everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Male Perspective. I am your host, Lana Reid, and today is another one of these amazing days. I get to sit down with yet another one of the men of Iota Phi Theta Fraternity Incorporated. Today, I have with me a gentleman by the name of Sean Donaldson. He's with the Alpha Alpha Omega chapter out there in Indiana, and I'm looking forward to spending some time with him today. But first and foremost, as I always do, sir, I take a quick moment to pause and say thank you to you for making time for me today. Time is a
Thank
gift.
you for having me.
Time is a gift. Once we give it, we can't get it back. So I truly appreciate you making time to talk to me. So thank you and welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Glad to
Well,
be here.
I always start off by asking, how long have you been an Iota man and where did you pledge?
So I've been an Iota man since fall of 2022. I pledged at Alpha Alpha Omega Alumni Chapter here in Indianapolis.
Oh, okay. So you've got 2 years under your belt. So
Yeah.
what was it about Iota that made you say, I'm going to go ahead and do this at this particular time in my life? Because you pledged Alumni Chapter instead of undergrad,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. I pledged Alumni Chapter. Uh, Father, 3 kids, wife, work, and there was like a calling or itch or whatever you want to call it. It's like I can do more. Um, in a sense of I wanted to do more in the community. So I felt that joining an organization was the best way to do that. One, you get a network of brothers and teammates, friends, if you will, and you work together and you execute initiatives to go out and help the community. So.
All righty. So busy. How old are the youngsters?
So oldest is 10, middle boy is 9, and my daughter is 5.
All righty. So now they have to share dad with some adopted uncles, huh? Awesome. Well, we're going to spend some time today talking about your profession because I think what you do is very unique. And a lot of people in our day-to-day lives, we see you folks out there, but we really don't know who you are and what you're doing. And you are a land surveyor.
Yes.
And as we get started, I guess I would like for you to explain what the job description is so people have understanding of what that is and what you do.
Yeah. Land surveying is basically uh, we're the guys who subdivide the land, and set marks on your property boundary. That's the simplest version. We do mapping, and we utilize a plethora of technology to do that. And old techniques, historical data. We rummage through records, old deeds and things like that. And we put all this information together and we determine where people's boundaries are. So both on the residential side and the commercial side.
Okay. Now, I have passed by you guys many times driving down the street in the course of my life, and I see you folks with that funny looking tripod and that funny looking camera thing. What exactly is that? What are you guys doing when you have that?
So that is what we call it a total station. And it's basically a telescope to a certain extent, but it has a lot more features. So what it does is it measures distances. So utilizes there's another person holding like a rod with like a reflector thing on top of it.
Yeah, okay.
So wherever that person is, it'll measure that distance as well as record that angle. And usually, this is surveying is very math heavy. So it's a lot of trigonometry, geometry. So it utilizes all that information to determine where that point is in reference to the world, essentially.
Okay, yeah, because
that's a simple explanation.
I have driven by you guys many times. I'm like, what is that weird looking thing? But
Yeah.
okay, so it's
a lot of people think it's a camera. I mean, when I was
that's
young,
what I thought it was.
when I was younger, growing up, surveying with my dad, we'll get people drive by and they'll throw up gang signs thinking it's a camera. I was like, yeah, not a camera.
So it sees down the line to the person with the mirror thing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now I know. So another place that I've seen you folks is like when a new subdivision or new commercial building is going on and you guys are in the streets just bothering traffic and everything? What's going on there?
It's a number of things that can be happening. Um, so the United States, in a lot of the states in the United States, is divided up into a grid, like a grid system.
Mhm.
So, and these grids are called sections. So, and a lot of the sections are along roads and county roads and things like that. So sometimes if you see see us digging in the middle of an intersection, we're looking for a section corner possibly, because we use those section corners to, they're tied. It's like a whole system network, and they use that information to determine where, like, say, a person's property is, because it'll be a description that references from that point.
Okay, so that's what you're
We
doing.
could also be looking in manholes.
Nasty manholes?
Yes, unfortunately. Because our job also is to determine underground utilities, like, to locate where all those pipes and things are. We don't necessarily have to get in them, but we do measure down to let engineers know, okay, well, this manhole is this deep and has a pipe this big. So, they utilize this data to design from. So when you see a subdivision going in and you see some surveyors out there popping a manhole, it's to let the engineers know, all right, what capacity that sewer system can hold for that subdivision. So
Okay, because we have to be able to have enough flush water and stuff
right.
like that. Okay, now it makes sense. So, in this whole process of construction, there's a whole bunch of moving parts and pieces. A lot of people doing a lot of things. So you have the electricians, you have, the building supplies. Who has to wait to do their job? Wait for you to finish doing what you do before they can start doing their job.
Um, so we are usually the first people on the ground.
Oh,
A lot
really?
of times you won't even see us. You'll see it, like, if you have a whole wooded piece of land, we'll be the ones out there crawling through the woods, trying to map it and determine where the property boundary is. And so when the construction starts, we've already gone, and we've already been out there.
Okay.
Then they may call us back to actually stake out where the designed construction is. So, like, all the sidewalks, sewer system, the roads, curbs, things like that. So they'll call us back in to lay all that information out so that they can build it.
Okay.
So then after they build it,
Go ahead.
after they built it, then they call us back again to map what was built. And they call that construction records or as built.
So that goes into the official city records then after
Yes,
you come out the second time.
that'll be third time technically.
I missed. I said the first time is when it's wooded, and
Yeah.
then the
Second time is when we're staking out, or we're laying out where everything is to be installed or to be constructed. Then the third time is to record where everything where everything was built. So,
Okay. So a new subdivision will keep you busy, right?
yes. Yeah.
And so then I also see you guys when, well, maybe it's not you, when stoplights and stuff are there installing stuff in intersections and stuff. Is that you guys too as well?
Not so much.
Not so
Not so
much.
much.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you said it was math and it's very detailed, it's very meticulous, and we're hoping that everybody is as good as Mr. Donaldson in their job and effective in their job. But indulge us for a minute. What would happen if somebody got the measurements wrong? What are the consequences of that?
Lawsuits. Yeah, lawsuits. So if we go out there and we say that, or well, the easiest way to talk about this is with construction staking. That's when we go out and we lay out where a manhole is, and what we tell the contractor what the elevation is supposed to be, where they are in reference to that. So if we go out and we make a mistake and we put that manhole in the wrong place, so if we put it 10 feet to the left, that manhole can end up in somebody's driveway.
Mm.
So Now that contractor has to go and take that manhole out and move it. We'll be the ones to pay for that.
Some heads will roll. Okay.
That's that's a $30,000 hit. So, so we don't like to make mistakes.
I would hope not. Okay. No, we don't want that. $30,000. Okay.
Yeah, manholes are not cheap.
Okay, well then I guess my next question is, because this is a highly skilled job, what education and training goes behind becoming a land surveyor?
So to be a licensed land surveyor, you have to go through, you can either get a degree in it, or you can go through, if you have, like you say, an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree that's not in surveying, you do have to take about 26 hours of credit hours, of land surveying specific credit hours. And there's a series of exams that you have to pass. So there's like three levels to it, essentially. Your basic fundamentals of surveying, and then there's like two licensure exams that you have to pass. So
okay. So well, you said your dad, so this is something you got from your dad?
Yes. Yeah. So I grew up in land surveying. My dad is a land surveyor. In the state, I know 4 Black land surveyors. I'm one of them. My dad's the other.
In Indiana.
Yeah. That I know of. There could be more, but I don't know who they are. So.
Okay. Well, I never would have. Okay. Well, that's props right there.
So yeah, I've been around it a long time. Actually, I've been around it so long, I actually didn't want to do it. To be honest with you. But as I grew up, I matured. I realized that it was a good fit because it's both tech heavy and mathematical heavy, and it's like solving puzzles essentially. It's like when you're trying to figure out to determine somebody's boundary. It is like putting a puzzle together.
So you were the kid that was good in math in school?
Yes.
Let me cheat off your paper. Sean, let me cheat off your paper. Okay. So I'm hearing a lot of, government, land deeds and stuff like that. So is this a job that is a city county job, or are there private companies that also have land surveyors?
So there are county surveyors, and they're one of their jobs is to maintain the section corners that are within their county. But then most everybody else are private companies. So I work for one of the few Black civil engineering firms in the city, JQOL, and they have a land surveying department. So I'm one of their licensed surveyors.
Well, only 4. Oh, so one of 4 Black surveyors in Indiana, and you work for the only. Well, you go. You go. Okay. So that's impressive. Why would is Indiana not really a large Black population, or I guess you're in Indianapolis, so.
Yeah, I'm in Indianapolis. The field of both civil engineering and land surveying, there is just not a lot of Black people in the field to begin with. It's, like I said, there's two Black civil engineering firms here. Well, 3 really, 3 that I know of.
Okay.
And there's just not a lot of people of color in the industry. That's just what it is.
So do you think we have to get our young kids more involved in math and expose? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Programs like NSBE, the National Society of Black Engineers, those very, very important programs that we need to get our young people involved with early. So yeah, there's as far as like surveying, not a lot of Black people get exposed to that. you know.
Wow. I'm reflecting on driving down the street and who I've been seeing, and I guess I haven't really been seeing a lot of us doing those jobs.
Right.
Well, we have to get to moving then. We got to get to doing some mentorship and some exposure and stuff like that. I mean, and I guess that's one of the things that the D9 is good for, is doing some youth mentoring and stuff like that. So,
Right.
wow. So so you got it from your dad. So he didn't see any surveyors, I guess, at all growing that looked like him when he was in the game, right? Or is he still in the game?
He's kind of still in the game.
Mm-hmm.
um, but no, his career, no, there was not a lot. There were a few that, you know, there are people who worked in surveying that not, but none of them, as far as what I remember, were licensed. Like he was like the only black licensed surveyor that I knew of
Oh,
up
oh,
until like the past probably 10 years. So, uh, so yeah, so he's worked all over the state too, and he's licensed in Illinois and Michigan, multiple licenses. So
okay. Now I've heard you use the term license a couple of times, so that leads me to assume that people are out here doing this job with no license.
so yeah, yes, you can practice land surveying without a license, but you cannot be a signer of a land survey. Like you can't go out there and put your name on a land survey and say, oh yeah, here you go.
Okay, okay,
That's illegal.
okay, okay. Got you, got you,
So
got
a
you.
licensed surveyor has to sign off on a survey plat. So
Okay. So when two neighbors are having a fight about whose side of the yard a tree is on, they call you, or do they call, or is that another? Because you said you work with a private firm, or is that the city?
no, they'll call a surveyor usually, and
Mm-hmm.
the surveyor will come out and basically show them where they think that their property line is. Now, if they want to take actions further, then that's outside of our realm. I mean, what we would serve as is a expert witness. So, like, say
Mm-hmm.
if these two property owners are disputing, they'll take that to, you know, up with the lawyers. The lawyers will then call in a surveyor or maybe multiple surveyors to serve as expert witnesses to, you know, give testimony on, hey, this is what I believe, this is where I believe the line is. But
Mm-hmm.
the ultimate decision will be the courts.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, and that brings up the issue. Is the job a little tricky to navigate it sometimes? You might be irritated, or do you have people that are problematic that approach you sometimes?
It depends where I work. We don't do a lot of residential.
Okay.
We primarily work on commercial projects. So that type of stuff doesn't really come into play with us. So,
Mm-hmm.
but there are surveyors who do a lot of residential stuff who will come and cross those type of situations where, you know, they're having to deal with feuding neighbors and things like that.
I was just thinking that would be complicated because they're mad and they're going to take it out on you, and you're
Yeah.
the source. Yeah, that would be complicated. Okay, so you like math as a young. If you weren't surveying, what do you think you would be doing with your technical self? Because it seems like you're very tech and math and all of that.
Um, to be honest with you, it's I like making music. It's kind
Really,
of similar. I mean, well, similar is not the best word,
it's
but
mathematical and
there, yes, it's math. It's also mathematical, and also creative. So you know, that allows me to kind of explore my creativity as well as apply my, you know, tech nerdy stuff. So,
Oh, I feel sorry for the babies. They're not allowed to get bad grades in math or anything, huh? Oh,
we give them some grace. We give them some grace, but I stay on them.
oh, poor babies. Dad is a geek and they ain't got no choice but. Well, let me switch a little bit because we've talked about your dad, and you come from Jamaican immigrant parents, and Jamaican culture is very unique and interesting in itself. Um, do you feel there was pressure growing up to excel in some way that you feel your peers didn't have to go through?
Oh yeah, growing up, they were very serious about education.
Mhm,
So, you know, it was very important that I did well in school.
mhm,
and at the same time, I wanted to do well in school.
Mhm.
Uh, so that's kind of that twofold. But yeah, no, it was very important that we did well in school. They enforced that, like, hey, you need to take your education serious, and do the best that you can. So that helped, it helped propel me in, high school to do decent.
Decent.
I think I did decent.
The
I
geek
would.
only did decent.
I mean, I guess I was like what, fifth in my class in high school. So
Oh, you're being modest. You did more than decent. Yeah, and you went to high school in Gary, right?
Yes, yeah, Gary,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, okay. Fifth, he says, I think I did decent. Humility. All righty, all righty. And parents were up there just clapping and cheering the whole time, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You have brothers and sisters? How is it a large family?
No, I have two older sisters.
Okay, two. The baby boy. Okay, alrighty, alrighty. So, what do you feel about Jamaican culture heritage still plays a very important part of your life today?
Um, Respect. Like that was very, very much paramount in my house. Like being respectful. Uh, it carries with me today. Like
Mhm.
how you treat people, it matters. Um,
Beautiful.
because my parents, they're the older Jamaicans, so, so
We pray for
manners
you. We
and
pray for
respect,
you.
were very, very important in our household.
Mhm.
Obviously in doing well in school, because
Mhm.
they came over here and with sights of doing better. So my dad started his land surveying company. My mom was a nurse, uh, so yeah, the manners, respect, doing well in school. That was kind of the driving force for me.
Mhm. And so when you brought them the grandkids, they turned into completely different type of parents, right?
Yes, yeah, I don't even know who these people are. Like
He
what?
can do no wrong.
Right? Yeah, yeah. They absolutely changed. Like, wait a minute. I got a little bit of trauma here with from you.
I know, right? No, that can do no wrong. Don't say that. Okay, that's precious. That is truly precious. So, if I am in Indiana, where's the best place to get a patio or a festival? Then, do you know?
um, uh, Not the Blue Lagoon. Uh, Caribbean. Well, I don't know. The name is on it's on Keystone and Fall Creek. I don't know why the name is skipping me right now.
That's okay. You gave me the street. I know where to roll to. I know where to roll to. I'm always chasing down a festival and a patio. Okay. All righty. So we know where to go. All right. So do you think the young ones are going to be following in dad's footstep and taking on the land surveying, or are they showing some other areas they're interested in?
I'm unsure. My parents never pushed it on me. Like my dad never pushed it on me. So I don't really push it on my kids. I know who has potential. My middle son, Grayson, has the potential. He can kind of see it. He has more of the mathematical mind and likes to figure things out. So I
Mhm.
can see him doing it.
Mhm.
Um, but I also want them to choose what they want to do. So now, if he happens to choose this, then great. But at the same time, I want them to choose what they want to do and be successful in that.
Mhm. So let me speak it into the atmosphere. So there in Indianapolis, you'll be opening up a little tutoring school for the young kids, young black and brown kids to learn how to be a surveyor. Just, any thoughts of that since we don't have that many of us in the field?
I'm thinking about venturing into business myself, eventually, and I will hope that I can provide like either internships or some sort of education in regards to surveying. with my own business.
Yeah, because now that you mentioned that there's not much of us in there, and you were the perfect fit to teach us. So
Yeah.
yeah, we got the little babies because I mean, we don't want to know your salary, but it is a good paying job though, a good career, right?
I'm not mad about it.
Okay, there you go. That's all right. We can pay the bills. We can pay the bills,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. The bills
And
are
go
getting
on
paid.
vacation and go on vacation every now and then, right? Yeah, so I mean, it would be nice that we have the representation there, and so I'm just doing my little auntie nudge, like, maybe one day we can see that. All
Yeah.
righty, all righty. So they're in Indianapolis. Is there a large Jamaican? Do you go to Carnival Festival? Do they have that there?
They more have Caribbean things. There are some Jamaican things here, some Jamaican activities, if you will, here. I don't get to them very often.
Mm.
I'm busy.
Oh, okay. So mom, I don't know. You mentioned dad, but is mom still with us?
Yes.
Oh, so they're still celebrating holidays and stuff like that, though. They're still
Yes.
tied to home. Okay.
Yep.
All
Yep.
right.
Yep.
All right. All right. So they got to pass it on to the grandkids.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, I'm going to ask you my random questions, sir, and
Okay.
then I'm going to ask you to. That would be. I'm thinking about that. That would be great for you to teach our kids how to do that with the little trigonometry things and the miniature tripod. I can see it all with the tripods and the little things, and we got the future generation of servants. Got expectations now.
All right.
Got expectations. So let's see what we got here. How often do you look at your phone every day, do you think?
Let's see. Probably 5 times a minute.
A lot for work though, right? You have a lot of apps and stuff on there for work.
There's some work. There are some work. But I'm also dealing with fraternity stuff. Communicating with the wife.
Yeah, gotta do that because you gotta have a home to come to, so we gotta talk to each other. So
right. So yeah, communicating with my wife or doing some math, doing some calculations or things like that. Dealing with fraternity business. Yeah.
Okay. The phone now, and I guess with technology, does it do measurements for the job now too as well? Can you do that?
Not survey measurements.
Oh, okay.
Not survey grade stuff. But I mean, granted, surveying does utilize a lot of technology. We utilize drone technology, 3D laser scanning, planes with 3D laser scanners.
Really?
Yeah. There's GPS. GPS has become pretty much standard now. So you don't see so much of the total station. You do still see them, but a lot of people, a lot of the field crews now are using GPS units. So that technology has made getting data a lot simpler to a certain extent, but it does still require there are different, there's all the, with all the technology, you have to basically understand, all right, when is the best time to use what piece of technology. So that
yeah, because I can see a drone because I was on one of these apps, community apps, and a lady was fussing about a drone. She felt like it was going in her backyard, and so I can just imagine you guys doing your job and somebody saying, "Hey, what you doing on my property here?" So many nuances and complications. I don't envy you, but you say it pays the bills and then some. So, all right, long as you pay it forward to the next generation, that's all I ask. That's all I ask.
I mean, in general, there's a shortage of surveyors.
Really?
Yeah.
Like general. Nurses, then.
Yeah. So surveying, you can kind of almost not really set your price, but there's high demand for us. So,
is it a shortage because people just don't know about the job, or what?
I think some people people don't. It might be a little bit of people don't know about it, but I think people don't want to do it because it does involve like being outside, also being in an office. So kind of that mix of both. That's why I kind of liked it, is because it was that mix of both. You do
you're
get
not
outside some, and you also get to work inside. So a lot of the old surveyors are retiring and dying off. So it's just not a lot.
I think that, I mean, learn something new. And you do work your normal 8-hour day. This is not a job that's like 12, 15. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out why people wouldn't be attracted to it though, but it is a regular 8-hour day.
It depends. It depends how busy you are. Sometimes there are other times where you need to put, hey, you got a project to get out. I mean, it's just what it is. But yeah, for the most part, when you're licensed, it's mostly an 8-hour day. But for field crews, it's a little bit different. Because when we get to winter time, it changes. We can still work in the winter to a certain extent. But you kind of work in daylight. You try to get as much work as you can while the sun is still out. So once the sun goes down, and it can't really do your job as effective as.
Okay, yeah, that's some measures. Yeah, so well, now I'm just learning a whole bunch of stuff. So I really need you to do some stuff for me. I need you to get out here and teach our young folks that this is because there's a lot of push these days with teaching our young children the benefits of trade school or whatever. But here learning about this, I mean, this is another viable opportunity that, like I said, we drive past you folks every day, and like I had no clue. The strange people with the tripod thing, and the camera. And more people need to, like you said, the older ones are dying off. We need to have some replacements, and why not have some children of color learn how to do this so they're prepared, to have a livelihood going forward. So yeah. I will need you to do that for little old Lana, okay?
All right.
All righty, dear. Well, I thank you for making time for me today, especially because I know you have chapter meetings, so you made some time to sit with me. So I appreciate that. I really, like I said, I pass by you folks all the time and had no clue. So light bulbs was just going off. I learned so much. I thank you for teaching me something. You can teach old people stuff all the time, and I'm one of those. I appreciate you, and I am looking forward to seeing your future progress. You said you got a business in the makes, so just. I'm rooting for you over here and looking forward to seeing what you have to do. Will have come forward, and especially the babies. So,
right.
I appreciate your time.
I appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. That is all for this week's episode of The Male Perspective. I'm your host, Lana Reid, and I will see everybody next time.